it was that forward.
Just remember, they're gonna come back.
Yeah,
but everything full circle for the most.
But like you said though, you have to be at a point where you can receive it, and that's the whole thing. You have to be at a point where you can receive it, because even when we were having the conversation, you were wishing everything that your dad did, your mom had did. You wanted to receive it. You just wanted to receive it from a different person.
Or you want to receive it earlier.
Yeah,
not late.
That's like I had aspirations. I had aspirations way before high school.
Yeah, let's get you got time. But it's time to get back on this thing.
I'm with you. You all ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. You want the intro to come back on?
Yeah, just come back on and just fake, and yeah, just a little bit of it.
Okay, cool.
Oh no, he's on my
Like you be behind schedule down when you be. Now we gonna have to be ready, baby. You just have to be ready right now. 5. Oh, this nigga look, man. It's just ain't. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back to Barbershop Talk with Random Bish. It's your boy Rick Kane. I am in the building, got my #1 in the building. What's good, boy?
Let's keep it going.
Let's keep it going. We done heard from my boy Larry done came through with some good words of wisdom, but once again, and my young brother Malachi. The things that he put out to us to help us try to bridge this gap from my generation to his generation. I hope y'all took heed to what he was saying. But right now, y'all have seen this young lady to my left all while we was here and all while we was talking. And I didn't want her to speak the first half for a reason. But now, young lady, who are you and why you're in my barbershop?
My name is Tomekia Raines. I am a therapist at Adult and Child Counseling of Athens.
Okay.
And so I work with people all day. I've been in the profession, probably private practice for about 6-7 years, but I've worked with defects, the hospitals, here, Gwinnett, Hall County, and several community agencies, working in the community, visiting families and doing my social thing.
Okay. Let's get to it. What did you think about what we were talking, the conversation that we were having earlier? What do you think about it?
I enjoyed it. It was something that you do not see in the Black community, where you have Black males come together, and I was so just, it did my heart good that y'all have a little text chat.
Yes.
That y'all check in, because as men, Black men, that's nothing that we are taught to do. We're not taught to really show any emotions. We're just, like you said, they're providers, and that's it. And so how they fix a problem with money. There's nothing that, no emotion. It's like very emotional less. I think about just, things I grew up with my grandparents, and so sometimes I think that my way of looking at things is kind of old-fashioned compared to a lot of ladies my age and a little younger and older, because I see a lot of breakdown in the community as far as the families, and even how our Black men are cut down, in the the presence of children, putting women over them, or just making more of a statement of like a woman rather than a black man. So, you see that, and then, our homes, because I'm a single parent. I have 2 boys that I raised. And when Malachi was talking, I was like, yep, that's it. I have a son that's 29, and I have one that's 24. And I raised them myself. You get the child support, but you don't get the presence. And so it's like you do all you can, and your everything goes, your life goes to them. Luckily, I was able to do school, degree, work to get where I need to get to take care of my men, my little boys. Well, they men now, but it was like I had to stay. And I remember something my grandfather told me. He said, Mickey, because that's what he called me, he said, you got to make them have a fear of you, because you raising these 2 boys. You don't want to have them where, they can run over you, but you have to have this, and it was hard. It was hard because I'm very soft-spoken. But I did it because that's what my grandfather told me to do. And they went through school, didn't have any issues with, just the normal boys. And I just continued I wanted to be just that model, who they saw their mom going to work. They saw me. They didn't see men everywhere. They didn't see mom just every time a man coming in spending the night, or man staying. Like, I wanted them to have respect for me and who I was. And also, I thought that had it would have a bond in how they looked at their wife or their girlfriend when they got one. So went through school. I can say my oldest son, he graduated from Kennesaw State. He is elementary school special ed teacher. So he's been doing that. He's married. They live in Atlanta. They're doing all the things as a married couple, no children. And you look at that and you're like, wow. And you ask, Mama, we got this. We don't, we okay. And I'm like, okay. But when you see stuff as a single parent, and then me as a woman, I look at the things of how he treats his wife, and I'm like, even as a girlfriend, how he treated her better than I've had men treat me. And so I knew, I was like, oh, a woman can raise a man. Not that she wants to, but she knows if she knows her, if she's okay, if she's able to accept herself and build in herself, and she understands what that man is supposed to do. Not blaming him for what his dad did to her.
Come on.
When you can do that, and it doesn't become, and you can have a conversation with the dad, even though you're not there, they with somebody else. I have great relationships with their dads, 2 dads. I say that, and I have great relationship with like, we can talk. There's no this, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna keep him from you, and because I just didn't see that as, it wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary. I mean, they were here. It was both of us. We did this. This is what, but like old folks, like, the girl bring the baby home, we take care of the baby. And not saying that that's what it's supposed to be, but if you raised up in that, that's what you do. And you don't look at what the dad's doing. And what I tell people is, regardless of what's going on, your relationship with the dad, don't never down that man. And what I taught my children, I was like, you may not care for him or whatever, but respect him. If you don't do nothing else, respect him for who he is. He's your father. He's your dad. He's your father. So you have to teach those boys. You have to let them know they still have to respect that man. regardless of what, and you know, you just cannot. My youngest son, he's doing well. He is he's a producer, music producer. Growing up, when you said that about the getting out through the sports, the entertainment, and just on the streets, we were here, and when my oldest son went off to school, we moved to Gwinnett, and because he kept telling me, I'm gonna be a basketball player. I want to play basketball, and I kept telling him, I was like, look, that's everybody can't be Michael Jordan. Everybody can't be, you know, all that. You got to think of something else. So we went to Gwinnett. We went to where, you know, if you want to play, you want to play. And he got there, you know, William Buford, and he was like, you know, because you see kids with personal trainers and they doing all this stuff, and he coming home, he was like, Mama, I don't like it that much. I just want to, you know. And so I was like, okay. So he started to, you know, they offer a lot of different things. And then he got into music. He was rapping at one time, and then he kind of got into all the boards and stuff. And so he went and found him an internship that took care of that. So he kept with that, and he was like, Mama, I know that you and my brother went to college to do. I said, yeah, we went to college. I said, but this is what my wish is for both of y'all. We went because that's what we needed to do, what we wanted to do. If you don't go, I'm not going to love you any less. I'm not going to talk about you, because college ain't for everybody.
That's right. All right. Absolutely.
And my thing is you be able to man up, you're up. Not in the point of you can't cry, but take care of yourself. Be able to take care of yourself like a man. Be able to provide for yourself, because I'm not going to be here. And he was like, okay. So he at the grind, and he got signed to a record label in Atlanta. And so he's working, you know, he's working with some artists. Like he always said, Mama. And I was like, okay, like Baby Drill and people like that. And I'm like, who is that? But so he's working in his passion, and that's his thing. And so I'm proud of both of them. And the only thing I can say for the young, and I guess I'm getting to the younger generation, it is, you are so right. Even when I see them, when they come in, they are little boys, little girls that are missing something. And it's sad that even before you get started, you're already broke. You're already broken in spirit. You're already broken in the places that we don't, you know, we got out of high school and college. That's when we went through these love things and we got broke. But these children, they're broken in the now. Elementary school, middle school, high school. And it is at home.
That's where it started.
They're seeking, a lot of them are seeking love. A lot of them are seeking that mother that they don't see. They have a vision, and a lot of the times, the school, I just have to say what I have to say. They get in trouble. They get punished, and they're getting the punish. It's like they're fighting this, like, okay, do y'all even think that the parent was the reason for this? Mm-hmm. So it's like they taking the punches for something that they have no control over, and then they don't even know where to go, and then we wonder why they just, because we have beat them down even before they even got out to a place, you know. So that's my discussion about the young kids. It's that love that they missing that piece. They don't know. If you don't know how it is to be loved or how it is to be fit, you won't care. You won't think about nobody else but yourself, because you're trying to find this. A lot of them younger now, smoking weed everywhere, and you're like, wow, we didn't do all of this. But it's something that, especially in elementary and middle school, and you know, like fifth up, You're like, what's going on? But it's missing. They're broken. They're broken children. And we so worried about us and what we got going on, or you got at home, you got some, mom got her own issues going on and she can't worry about yours. And, sometimes I feel like it's a generational thing, and it's like they just stuck. I told my children, I said, when you leave here, don't come back. Don't come back. Don't come back. And they didn't. They said, I was like, I felt like it was just a hole. It will suck them in and then they can't get out. And so I did not want that for them. And I even tell I tell everybody, like, I even tell kids that I see, I'm like, go, enjoy life, learn something new, learn the new place. It's sad that a lot of children that are here, they haven't even been outside of Athens or even outside of the state.
Yes.
So when we talk about mental health, we think about, like the depression and all that. But for children, you have the acting out because it's underlying. All that behavior problem that you see is underlying depression. They're put in homes, they're put in foster homes and YDC and underlying depression, but it's never addressed.
And you do know, when you look at it in that format that you just pointed to, that I'll give you a quick scenario. Do you remember the little black box that everybody have? You remember the little black, you got your little black book, but you know how everybody got that little black box? And, when trauma would happen or traumatic events, you live through them and then you put them in this little black box and you put a top on it, And if you do it for year after year or event after event after event, everything okay as long as the top stay on the little black box. But when somebody comes over that you may not know, or a situation, and somebody bump into the box and knock the top off, see, all of the things that we put away now, they come streaming out. They fall out of the box then. See, and that's what what we're talking about when we say they're broken in a sense, because, okay, remember, we had these big toy boxes. When we used to break a toy, we didn't throw it away. We would just put it in the box, and when we get a new, we just play with that one until what? Part of it breaking and put it in the box, see? And then when somebody else come over and asks, hey, Larry, where that toy we used to play with? And you go, oh, it's over there in that box. They mess around and go get that box, but what that toy represents something else for somebody else. Now, the person who want that toy, oh, it's a good time. The person who he had a good time with or on with that toy is trauma for them, you see. So the brokenness, as she pointed to, that sometimes because of our manifestations of our actions, okay, the manifestations of our thoughts and our intentions. See, we can intend to do well, but we manifest something other than that based off of the environmental place, a sector that we in, or a section that we in. So that's why she said we can be broken. Okay, what I'm saying is, you can have a picture. Larry can crack the picture, but if I need some water, it just depends on, do I want the picture out of the broken pot, or you see what the container is, how it's presented. That's why I heard when Malachi talked about the way to relate to a younger generation is not to come at them from 52. If I'm trying to talk to you at 16, I need to go back to my dream when I was 16, because now I'm in your realm. I'm back on that field. I can identify. But if I'm at 52, the first thing you saying is I'm 16. I may never get to be 52, bro. What you talking about?
Like, I don't see that. Like, I don't see that far into the future yet. Like, I may have aspirations. I may have dreams, but I don't see past 30 right now.
Come on, right.
I don't see to 52. I'm seeing 20, 22, 23.
You can't even see 17. Some of them can't even see 17.
Right.
Next day, maybe.
Right. And that's right.
Now, the second part of the video, Alisa D went into talking about losing his sister.
Okay.
And what that did for him. I lost my grandmother. That's the closest person to me that I've lost. And I had to be the strong one of the family. Now, the beauty of the day that we lost her, I had to come from Atlanta here, so I was able to get it out and take care of myself. So when I was able to get here, I was able to be the strong one for the family, being able to, but leading up to that moment, it was hard for me to process because in the house that I was living in, no one ever asked me how I was doing. And I'm steady calling here and trying to make sure my grandmother, make sure whoever there is there to help her and they're doing okay. But I was never asked how I was doing. I eventually come, you know how we do, put that in a put that in a compartment and close that box.
Black box theory. That's what we gonna call it.
We're still trying to figure out what has that done to me. But that's the second part. Losing someone to death. How do we as black men, how do we handle that? What have we done to handle those things? Now, my brother, now we go into what Brown can do for you. Because, are you ready to talk about it?
Oh, of course.
Okay. You lost someone in your life that was very important to you. You lost him to cancer. How was knowing that you was going to lose him, and then when you lost him, what was that like for you?
First of all, I want to say thank you to all the fellas out here. I mean, that first part, I was, like I told Lee and Rick, I was kind of lost because I was always blessed to have my mom and dad at the house. Point blank. So I grew up different, and I think Larry and Lee and Rick and a couple more people, they know that. So fast forward to my dad passing. When I knew he was going to pass, I was still numb. The reason why I was numb is because I had my grandmother, my mother, and my sister there at the house, and I knew that all three of them depended on him.
Yeah.
I'm married, I got kids, I got my own thing going on, so I was just numb to it at that point. So when he finally passed, it hurt, and it still hurts to the day. Reason being is, I think me and Leon talked about this a little bit, because I feel like if he was still here, there are a lot of things that wouldn't ever happen that was negative.
Mm-hmm.
If he was here, it wouldn't have happened. I'll just put it that way. But that was my best friend, and kind of piggyback on what you said, about your dad and your mom. For me and my dad, we sat and we talked, and we had emotional talks. We didn't just talk about girls or, basketball or football. We had emotional talks. He would always sit me down and, he'd call me P. He'd say, "Hey, P, you good? How you doing? You got anything you want to talk about?" It wasn't never about no sports or nothing. So I missed that aspect of it, and when he passed, it was like it was all gone. So I knew I had I'm not gonna say empty house, because my mom and my grandmother and my sister were still there. Well, they're still there, but they didn't ever put a burden on me to be the man of the house, because I had my own household. But the way I grew up from him, learning from him, everything, and I think a lot of people knew that me and my dad was just alike in pretty much every aspect. I just feel like I had to be the man of the house.
Obligation.
So, yeah, that was nothing that was told to me. That was just something that it was learned from my dad.
Yeah.
he didn't never say, hey, you got to be the man of the house. You know, no, it wasn't that type of conversation. So I fully support, you know, my family and do as much as I can. But do I think about it a lot? Yes, I do. I miss him. I think everybody in this room kind of miss him the way they do my dad.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he was a father figure to quite a few people.
Yes, sir.
But that was a blow, and I guess we was talking about depression earlier or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm not even for sure if I got depressed about it. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. There was never a time where I just folded and wouldn't talk to anybody and this, that, and the other. But for some reason, just from listening to you guys, I probably did go through some type of depression. It might not have been as long as, you know, as you guys, but I guess, you know, sometimes when I'm riding and I'm thinking about my dad, because I got this air freshener with his picture of me and him on it, so I see him while I'm driving, you know, and I'll get to playing some music, and, you know, my dad loved his music, and I get to playing his music, and next thing you know, I got a couple of tears rolling down or whatever, but I don't know if that's depression or not. So that might be one of the questions that I might want to ask.
Do you think? That's why you here?
Well, and I totally understand where you're coming from. I've been through that. Grief, we never, it's like it's a continuing journey that you learn to cope and be okay, but you never get over, especially when it's a child or, you know, sibling. And, you know, losing parents is just like, especially when you have a connection or relationship with, and not understanding, like, okay, because I was writing down like the stages of grief that we talk about in therapy. Mm-hmm. You know, you go through, you have this denial stage, you know, you have this anger stage, like you just mad about it, like say, and it starts when they're sick and when it's like heading that way, mm-hmm. you know. So you have this time, and sometimes you stay stuck in a place and you can't move on. Like it's the denial, the anger, the bargaining. Lord, if you just let him stay, just, you know, don't take him from me. Or, you know, I'll do this, Lord. And then you get to the depression because you find out that it's nothing you can do. Mm-hmm. You're just going through the motions. Like you have no, you know, some people grieve and they're stuck in depression. They're stuck in that place. And depression looks like, you know, people always think it's supposed to look a certain way, but no, a lot of people have masks on. Like you cannot see through the mask that they are dealing with depression. It may be in how they interact with people. It may be who they won't interact with, you know, who they don't want to see. Because if y'all know anything about triggers, yes. You can see something, you can smell something, you can touch something, you can hear something, and it will bring on a thought that you may have had with your dad. Mm-hmm. And you might not, it might not look like depression, but it may make you, put you in a certain place where you can't get out of. And then the final stage is acceptance. That's when you accept that it's done and I'm going to live for me. And, you know, you can either, I'm going to live and, you know, I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to make sure that, you know, I do, and I'm going to make him happy, and I'm going to, you know, so you're like okay with it. It's not, you know, but I'm not telling anyone that when they get to the acceptance stage that they're not going to have those days where they're riding down the road and you hear a song and you think about dad, or if it's something that comes up that you know that if my dad was here or my mama was here, they were going to be there, and it just brings those tears. I think about, you know, even with my kids, my parents died before while my children were small, so they did not know them, and so to me that's that pulls on me. But the thing about it is, one is my mom and the other one is my dad. One looks and I'm like, wow, So I say, okay, Lord, thank you, you know, because I can see them every day, my mom and my dad through my children. And so it's loss. I mean, it's so much. Like your loss will not be like my loss or Lee's loss, you know, or Larry's loss. Nobody's loss is, and no one can tell you how long you can grieve.
Please speak on that, because go.
1 second.
Good.
Well, thank you, Tomekia, for those stages of grief, because when you went through them, I just started thinking right here, because I was with Sam the entire time. I was the night his dad passed away. And every stage you just mentioned, I saw my brother go through. Every stage. Thank you.
Speak on that, because I know a lot of people think that you supposed to, after you supposed to be, you still
be all right.
Yeah, you supposed to be all right by now. You still dealing with that?
Yeah.
Speak on that, because that's one thing I tell people: take as much time as you need,
and that
for you to be okay.
Yeah, I believe any therapist or counselor, they're gonna tell you that, because there's different people grieve differently.
Yes.
And then say you've lost a child. Now, as for a woman, well, you know, you've carried that child for 9 months inside. Like you bonded with that child. So if you lose a child, I can't tell you, oh, it's going to be all right and whatever. I can't even speak to that, because I've never lost a child. And so I think people need to be very mindful of what they're speaking to when they're speaking to people about death and loss and grief, because I can't tell. Like if I had to turn around and say, okay, I know what you're going through, and I've never lost a parent, I'll be out of pocket.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't understand.
Yes.
Right.
But I do understand, and it's like I was a daddy's girl, so I understand that that's a loss. Parents and children, those losses are, you can't even talk to people, like, you know, and you have to let them be where they're at, and you meet them there.
Yes.
Right.
And you tell, you know, grieve as you want. Don't tell me you saw. No. If you need to cry, cry. You know, you
Absolutely.
help them get through it. You know, you provide them comfort. You tell them what, you know. If I hadn't been through it, I'm like, you know, I might say, just something that, like, I'm praying for, you know, praying with you or something. But then some people come and say, well, you know, they in a better place. Wait a minute, how you know they in a better place?
Yes.
Those are, you know, it's just certain things that we say that we should not say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, you know, regardless, we know, you know, people mean you have good intentions, but those are like, no, don't talk to me. Even when the point of, like, the whole process of the grieving, where, you know, the person died and you rush to their house the day of, like, wait a minute, let the family, I understand you want to, but let the family kind of sink this in, because you just don't do that. You know, because it's like you're doing that, and then you're in and out, and you have no respect for the grief part of it.
Yes.
So, yes, people that go through those stages, some get stuck, and it's like you got to figure out how to help them move forward. You know, whether it's like just being silent, because sometimes people look at silence as a bad thing, but actually silence is a good thing. It's a good, you can sit in a place of silence and just, you know, reflect and get some things together that you just didn't, you know, understand. But to say that about, you know, your loss, I feel that you have, like, you're coping, and that's what we do. We cope. We can get through the day. We can remember those things that they taught us, and we can have, you know, those those memories, that's what we have. That's kind of what keeps us going. Like, it's not saying they're gone and we can't think nothing else of them. No, that's how some people, like, if you want to do, that's your memorial of them. You know, we don't want to make a image of them and just got worse, but you know, that's just that part that, you know, okay, I know he's proud of me. I know she's proud of me. And we just kind of, you have to grieve in your own way how it works. It may be that you like to go somewhere that y'all went, like fishing or whatever it is that soothes your soul. Not because you're not worrying about nobody else. You're trying to take care of this part, because of that. The thing about it, people, when you don't grieve and let that grief go through, it builds up and it causes other problems. And that's, you know, that's in relationships. We go through loss, you know, when we go through those same stages. So anytime you lose something, it's a loss. And it's a loss where you have to go through stages of grief. And that's for anything. I lost my phone. I got to go through. I know I didn't lose my phone. Oh, I'm mad on phone. And you like, Lord, if you help me find this phone, I won't never lose it again.
Pay my tithes.
Now I'm pulling my hair out because it still ain't found.
Then you get to the point like, I don't want to put this money. Because it depresses you, because you got to take this money that you know, so you depressed, and then, you know, then you got to get to the point, well, okay, I got to have it, so here it goes. So you go through these stages, but you just got to know how to handle, or how, you know, what loss you're in, to how you're going to handle it.
Okay. Larry, do you want to?
I've always loved and envied the relationship you had with your dad.
Absolutely. Yes.
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 I've admired it.
Absolutely.
And I've mirrored it with my son. You know, as I mentioned earlier, I lost my father when I was 7. And I still grieve that loss. Because like you said, I still think how things would be different if he was here. How you know, mistakes that I've made, I may not have made them. But you know, we go through the process. But I truly enjoyed the relationship that you had with your father.
Absolutely.
And being able to be a part of it.
Yes.
Because he loved us all. He treated us all like we was his boys too. And
Sam didn't even have to be there.
Yeah. That was the
beauty.
beauty of it. And it was just, we missed him and we miss him. And I think the hardest thing was watching you.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, as I say earlier, you know, you can take my arm, but I hate to see my brother's arm go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not be able to do nothing about it.
Yeah.
So that was my piece. Just, I loved the relationship, and I knew how much it pained you when it was gone.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Man, that's deep, because it's just like nobody tells you how to prepare for it. Nobody tells you hey, it's gonna get ugly.
Nobody can't. See, and the beauty of it is nobody can't.
Nobody can't prepare,
because it's your experience with that. My experience with it is gonna be totally different from yours. So can't nobody tell you how to go through those.
And if they told you,
they lied.
You wouldn't believe them.
Yeah.
Cause it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's just like, on so many standpoints, it's like that's an impact that, like, it's so unexpected. It's like, how do you even sit here with yourself and remain when this person not even here? Like, cause when not even to make this about me, but when I lost my granddad, like, the first person that I heard it from was my mom. And, like, not seeing her care, I mean, like, not seeing her show like the effect, like the side that like that's your father, like right there in that moment, that made me think to myself, well, I shouldn't sit here and cry either.
Yeah.
Because if my mom, I didn't have an up and personal relationship with my granddad, but he was still my granddad. But if my mom didn't have an up and personal relationship with him, it was kind of like, for me, it was, well, let me go to the funeral, let me, you know, go through the promotion, you feel me? Until it actually hit that I just lost my granddad.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't in denial because we already knew he was going to get to that point, but I've been angry for a long time now that I think about it.
And I've worked with hospice, which, you know, people look at hospice as, oh, you're gonna die, but it's actually a agency where they come out and it's like being proactive rather than, you know, just providing you that service so you don't have to go back in the hospital. And even during that, it's like dealing with death and talking to families and even to the person that's dying, it's different. You know, you can either have the person who is like, they're stuck in the stages of grief, of them accepting that this is it, you know, wanting that they know that nothing can be done. So it's even, they even have to, they grieve their loss. People who are gone, they grieve their own loss. And they have to go through these denial, angry, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. So I remember just like an uncle passing and him just like, I don't want to leave my children. You know, so they have to go through that. And then sometimes you have families that the person may be like, I'm okay. I know I'm okay. But that family is not okay.
Not ready to
and
let
they're
them
not
go.
ready.
Yeah.
And it's so many times where I've seen a patient, because the last thing to go is your hearing. So I've seen people hold on. Like and you like, now, you don't know that everything has shut down and they're still here. And it's that they hear the crying, they hear all of that, and they're just here. And it only takes that person, that one person that they are worried about to say, I'm okay. And you see them just drift off. And so it's not only for us that we go through that grieving, but it's also the person that's passing. So when they're at, you know, and they go through that, they can hold on. I've seen them hold on, just hold on. It can be a family member, and you're like, well, everybody's been here, but no, that grandchild is not here.
That one
yet.
person,
And they will hold on until that person gets here. And like, to see that, you know, to tell y'all, you'd be like, I don't believe that, but it's so true that, you know, because of they're fighting to hold on till they can just be at peace and leave. So, you know, sometimes I look at it when the family is like, no, you can't go. You just whatever. It's like being selfish because that person is everything to them.
Yes.
And so when you lose that, it's like, you know, what am I going to do? Who am I going to? And then you find people, like, especially spouses. If one spouse dies, the other one will grieve to herself or himself to death. And it's like, you see this and you know that with nothing wrong with them. They just kind of, you know, you see it a lot. Like, I look at it like my parents. My mom died in April of 2000, a month after she turned 44. My dad died in December of 2000, a month after he. So it's like they left here the same year, and I'm like, y'all want to leave me like that, you know? So and then I keep up with. So it's like you don't know, you know, it just depends on, you know, it's like you got your faith and you got like, okay, let me get through these, because I stayed in, I think, the depression stage for a long time. I thought I was okay, but I wasn't.
So let me ask you this then. You being a therapist, how do you, I mean, do you go to your colleagues or do you do what we do?
How do you navigate that?
How do you navigate being a therapist and you know that these things?
Somebody, before you answer that, somebody asked me the other day, and this is, it still be on my mind. She my girlfriend, matter of fact. I'm gonna say she my girlfriend, because she is. She asked me the other day, she said, who's gonna heal the healer?
Yeah.
A therapist. every therapist, every counselor, if you don't, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I will be transparent here that probably a few years ago, I went through, I'm like, I don't need no therapist. I'm a therapist.
Yeah.
I can do this. I'm praying. Well, and it got to a point where I was like, I don't even want to be here. Like that type, I don't want to, And so it became, I got to work. And this is when I was working before I just started doing therapy full time. And I'm just like, I get to work. And the nurse says, what's wrong with you? And I just broke down. And I said, I don't have nothing to pull from. Because I had used up all my reserves trying to be strong and fix myself.
You can't pour into people from an empty vessel.
Say it one more time.
And absolutely. So even the reserves that I had were empty. They were empty. So I had to get myself fixed.
Yes, sir.
And it took me doing that. It took me getting my relationship right with God. It took me just because I was broke. I was broken. And therapists, we get broken, but we still have a job, and I think that if you're a good therapist, God has to give you grace to do this because you hear and you see everything. You see, and it's just what you have to understand that you need. You have to have someone that you can unload your stuff to because you're taking in. And, by being a therapist, you really don't, I don't know about anybody else like that's in this profession, but I'm very close as far as I don't hang with a lot of people. I kind of, I'm not like just antisocial. I do, but because I hold so many secrets, I don't want to have the appearance that I'm, you can't come and talk to me and I won't tell your business.
Absolutely.
So, and I wanted to say something to you about something you said earlier, but I can wait if you have something.
No, go ahead, because we finna get ready to wrap it up. So
okay, go ahead. And in the beginning, when you were talking about just how you was, going through the relationship and you was hurt and, I was thinking about this, and then someone else said something, but to me, the relationships with a man and a woman, they are they serious. Yes. And I think that two whole people have to understand, or either I always take it if I want to wait for the man to kind of, and I find out that as a woman, and when you said this, and when you said it, I was like, I could have screamed. Because sometimes men don't know how to take a woman who has worked on herself, did the work in herself, to know what she's supposed to do as a woman. Not that I'm supposed to take care of you or anything, because, sometimes I think we get caught up on, I did all this for you and you're going to do this. And then that becomes the obligation love. You love me because you feel obligated to me. But it's not real love. It's the obligated because I'm going to make you feel like you did so much for me and I got to pay you back. So it's a lot of that. It's a lot of an obligated love with someone.
Loving under conditions.
But the thing about it is you don't want that. You want unconditional. It is not. When you say, when you was looking, it's more of, I can speak to you. I can speak into you. I can do all those things. I can accept you and I don't judge you, but how I love you, I don't even have to ask you to change because you automatically change yourself.
Absolutely.
And so if we can look for women or if we can find women that are that understand that principle and that value. And another thing I'll end it like this. I think about, I love the Bible, but I think about if I understand and I know that a man really, truly loves me, then like the Bible said, he is supposed to love his wife, just like God loves the church. And that woman is supposed to respect him. So if I know he loves me and I don't have to question that fact, I respect him. I won't cuss him out. I'll understand. I'll walk through whatever it is because I know he loves me and I know that he's trying to work on himself.
Absolutely.
So when we're in those type relationships, we have to know who is for us. We can't be caught up in like obligated love. We can't be caught up in superficial love like it's on the top, but we can't, there's nothing under it. Exactly. So I just wanted to say that like sometimes you go through things, sometimes some things have to be taken from you, but in the end, you get what you supposed to have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Got something right quick?
Yeah. Facebook family, random talking-ish family. That black box that got the lid on it. Let's not wait till it get knocked over the top. Let's put a line 3/4 up. When you toy it, when your situation hit that line, let's go get some help. Come on, there's people out there. There's some resources. Do a little research. It's okay to talk to people. Yes, it helps.
It's just who you talk to.
No, I'm talking about licensed people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not just random people.
I mean,
like when I say go help, like just go. Like, you need to get some professional help. You can't go talk to Johnny on the corner. That Johnny on the corner is in your same position, so he can't give you no good knowledge. So there's licensed people that got degrees and went to school for this type of thing,
Yeah, but
and at the end of the day, sometimes they can just sit down and listen. Sometimes it's a freedom to be able to talk to somebody that not gonna judge you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Not gonna go tell your business, and you can just sit there and talk. And she may not. I mean, that therapist may not give you any advice, but she's listening.
Yes.
Sometimes you may just talk.
That's real.
Get out your chest. So
because when I was going through my period where I was in denial about therapy, like she said, because I was thinking, man, I talk to everybody.
No, it's not therapy.
It's not therapy. I'm talking to everybody who on the same level as me.
Yeah,
right.
Not therapy.
And and one of the most beautiful things I found out about therapy is, especially when they're just listening, most of the time you come up with a lot of the answers yourself.
Yes.
Right.
That is there.
But the key is you have to slow down and be able to hear yourself
And be honest.
and just be
Yes.
honesty. You have to be honest with what's going on. Yeah, absolutely. Sam, go ahead.
I just want to give a shout out to Tanya King for his boys that are in here. We know that you have turned his life around. I got to give that shout out to you, Miss Kane. Malachi, I am so impressed with you, man. I thought you was more than 19 years old. I mean, I really did, man. Yes, man. So, shout out to Malachi and also my therapist in here to my left. You gave me some good information. Maybe I can get in the car and have a few tears, and now I know what stage I'm at. I appreciate this show tonight, and it gave me a lot of insight on Lost.
Yes, sir. Well, y'all know what time it is. We're going to get ready to wrap this thing up. But I also, before we go, once again, I want to shout out and thank my big cousin for what he doing for not only talking randomish, but the community. Salute to you for going down to Augusta, helping them people out down there.
Right.
And thank you for what you're doing. I want to also thank MEU Radio Athens for allowing us to come on board and be part of this. And want to thank my brothers. Want to thank young Malachi. Definitely want to thank to Miss Tomekia. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Okay. Miss Raines.
Miss Raines.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for what you do in the community because it is so needed. So it's so needed. It is so needed. It is so needed. And if you ever need a place to come and talk about whatever it is you need to talk about to help us get through whatever it is we going through, you don't need an invite. The door on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock is open to you.
Yeah, Chair 6 is always open.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
And this game we call life is a series of moments. The past is just at the past. Learn from it and be thankful for it. The future, prepare for it, is coming. Let's get to the next one. The present is a gift. Enjoy the journey. Take pictures. And most of all, thank God. Before we get out of here, Larry gonna once again bless us. But it's time to sweep the floors, clean the clippers. Larry already said he got the bathroom.
Got the bathroom.
And when he get through with this poem, the shop is closed.
It's okay that I'm not okay. Lost in my thoughts like loose change in couches. A good posture in slouches. Useless like compliments to grouches. See, I was heavy in my mind. Blind to my surroundings. Pondering the mysteries of my journey in this so-called life. Bright I was called by many of my peers, but down through the years, darkness is where I would often roam. Too late to be postponed, and blows to my dome have often left me concussed. Yet when survival is a must, one must press on. But like fake nails in our lashes, my attempt to appeal to the masses has often been met with failure. So how does one measure his self-worth when nothing can compare to his pain? And while the rain keeps on pouring, the old man, he is steady snoring, ignoring your pleas for assistance. See, resistance is futile when assimilation to the system is demanded, and we have all been left stranded, like princesses in ivory towers. And like Austin Powers, I too have lost my mojo. But still, I must protect my dojo, even though I may not know how far down this rabbit hole I will go. So look out below as I free fall like Tom Petty, and like SpongeBob, I too am ready, though my footing is unsteady, and the melancholy that plays in my head is set on repeat, whispering that I should accept defeat, or at the bare minimum stop trying, when in reality we are all simply dying. Just some of us have accepted the truth. While others are searching the pudding for proof, the roof is collapsing. So there's no time for relaxing, and I have been masking these emotions for far too long. As the DJ keeps playing the same old song, so much so that the emperor has lost his groove. So now I ask you, what is it that you would have me to do when there is nothing left for me to prove? Stand here and continue to be abused? Tell me what you would choose when there are no arrows left in your quiver. Could you stand and deliver, or would you shiver in the face of defeat? Too often we have averted our eyes. Now I choose to meet my demise face to face. There's no haste, just God's grace. It took 50 revolutions around the sun for me to learn to stand instead of run. And now I'm finally able to say, when the question from the world is thrown my way, hey man, how are you? Are you okay? How are you feeling today? In all honesty, I'm honestly able to say, no, my friend, I am not okay. But that in itself is okay.
I'm going over this book. It's called Eight Habits for Growth. Yes, sir. And it's
Right on, Larry.